If you can't find the perfect boyfriend, why not make one? Lisa Frankenstein is the 2024 horror about a young misunderstood girl who finds love and murder when a Victorian reanimated corpse shows up on her doorstep. Written by Diablo Cody and directed by Zelda Williams in her directorial debut, this movie is super fun. It's set in the 80s and it is filled with just ridiculous, over-the-top humor, kills, character moments, and montages, and it's everything I wanted in a love story about a reanimated corpse. This film definitely feels like a throwback and love letter to teen horror comedies of the 80s. Movies like Heathers and Weird Science. Also a little bit of My Boyfriend's Back. And there's a little bit of sprinkles of Tim Burton throughout this as well. We're getting Ed Scissorhands vibes throughout this movie. The one thing I love the most about this movie is the aesthetic. The 80s aesthetic is something I will never get over. I love the pretty bright pops of color, pink, blue. All of the stuff is just, it's so beautiful to my eyes. And anytime that it's in a movie and we're seeing it, I'm drawn into it. It immediately makes the situation even more fun for me, and it makes the ridiculous death and grossness that's happening on screen a little bit easier to stomach. The movie is filled with 80s songs that you'll want to sing along to, and there's a few montage moments and musical set pieces that I love. I always love a montage. I can never have enough of those, and if your movie has a montage in it, that's automatically a 1-star up in my rating. It's also filled with that weird, cheesy, awkward humor and character relationships that we often saw in 80s horror and in Diablo Cody set horror film. Diablo Cody movies in general. I also love that this movie has a ridiculous plot. It knows it. It does not take itself too seriously, and it leans into the absurdity, which is what makes it succeed. Kathryn Newton and Cole Sprouse are fantastic together. They have amazing chemistry, so it's easy to fall in love with them and their relationship. I love that when we meet our main character, Lisa, played by Kathryn Newton, she has just experienced a really traumatic event in her life and she's going through a lot. She's living in a new home with a new evil stepmother played by Carla Gugino, who is fantastic, playing that archetypal, stereotypical evil stepmother. And she has a new stepsister who is actually really sweet and genuinely kind, which is unexpected. And her dad, who is just clueless. It's played by the guy from Stranger Things, who was also clueless in that. She's struggling. She doesn't speak much. Nobody really understands her, and she just is going through the motions. She's a little depressed. One day she goes to a party that she's dragged at by her sister, and she experiences something devastating and tragic, and it just puts her in a tailspin, and she heads to this graveyard where she loves to hang out, which I totally get that. The graveyard in this movie is so beautiful. I would hang out there too. I love graveyards. I don't think they're creepy. I think they're peaceful. One of my favorite places on earth is a cemetery, Mount Auburn Cemetery in Watertown, Massachusetts. If you're ever in the area, you need to go there. And she's upset. She's crying. It's raining. There's a thunderstorm, and she says, "I wish I was with you," to Cole Sprouse's character's gravestone. And that wish brings him to life. And he shows up on her doorstep. She's understandably shocked and frightened at first, but then she realizes he's not there to hurt her, and she kind of helps clean him up and get him to look like a normal kid again. There's a cute montage moment, and in the process they develop this friendship, and Cole Sprouse's character kind of builds Kathryn Newton's character up over the course of the film, where she gets more confident and she starts talking more, and she essentially comes back to life. And it's really sweet to watch that happen. Cole Sprouse, fantastic in this. I was never like a huge fan of his. I liked him on Riverdale, but I was never blown away or anything, and he kind of got a little annoying with this persona that he has. He's great in this, and he has really good comedic timing, and his physical performance is hilarious. Like, he does subtle movements where he's not speaking through much of this movie. It's mostly through his physical movements and grunts and facial expressions, and I was really impressed by him. I loved him, and I think that the movie would not have worked as well without these two, because these two are just great together. You can tell they're having fun, and they get it. They understand what kind of movie they're in, and they deliver. I saw some people complain about Lisa's transformation, that she kind of changes and becomes a completely different person towards the end, but I didn't think that was unexpected. I feel like her relationship with the creature is what helps give her this confidence and helps her grow and change. So I didn't think it was that out of place and she didn't become a completely different person. I think she was just becoming herself again, and she was coming back into her own, and she was getting through this horrific situation that she previously went through. The movie starts off as a very cutesy teen zombie romance story, and then it takes a hard turn to the Heather's route, where death starts happening, murder starts happening, mayhem, and these two characters are trying to navigate those situations, and it's really fun, it's unexpected, and it's bloody and gory and silly. And because the stuff that's happening is so ridiculous and over the top, it still maintains that level of lightheartedness throughout, where I was just having a blast watching horrific things happening, because it just doesn't, it's not taking itself seriously, so I'm not going to take it seriously. God, there were just some fun, like really fun moments as I'm talking about this. Like, there's one moment where Kathryn Newton's character has realized something, and Cole Sprouse's character, the creature, he's very protective of her, and he comes in and protects her in these situations. And one of them, that he comes in when she's freaking out and he blasts the radio, and the way he does it, like, it's just so funny. And then the way the scene plays out, you're just seeing his face, you're seeing blood splatter everywhere. That is my favorite moment in the film, because what he's doing and where it leads to, perfection. I do, however, think that the story structure felt a little weird at times. I don't know, there was just something about it where it didn't feel as strong as Jennifer's Body. Even the dialogue and jokes and stuff, it wasn't on the same level as what I'm used to from the Diablo Cody stuff. Like, it didn't have that same witty, quick banter, and that could have just been the performances, I don't know. But some of the humor I got, it was very female focused, which I loved. I feel like this movie is for the weird girlies. There's a scene where they're in her closet together going through her stuff, and he pulls out like this magic wand back massager, and she's like, yeah, my aunt gave me that. She told me it'd give me some personality. It's just like stupid, silly humor like that. But then there's stuff that didn't really work. The humor fell flat, and it was just kind of just ugh. And I don't know if that's because of the way it was directed. We're dealing with a debut director. But yeah, some stuff didn't land, some stuff did, but it wasn't like hilarious where I was like dying from laughter. I think Jennifer's Body did the humor better. There was also some weird plots though that did not seem to get resolved. Like, Kathryn Newton's character goes through something horrible before we meet her, and they talk about it. So you're expecting more to come from that storyline, but nothing does, which I guess stuff just happens and we don't have a resolution, but it's just weird. In a horror movie, you would think there would be some wraparound there, but there wasn't. I think that the ending of the movie felt a little rushed and weird. Like, I didn't understand the actions of the character, but that didn't stop me from enjoying the movie. I enjoyed every other aspect of it. I feel like the journey was fun. The characters were great. I loved everybody whenever they were on screen, and with the whole aesthetic and just craziness of the plot, I was in. I just had a silly, fun, good time with it. I think it's really sweet. It's definitely rewatchable, and I think it's gonna become a staple for Valentine's Day and for any time of the year, really. I'm hoping that this movie will do well, but I feel like the reviews are very mixed, and this is going to be one that people are going to find with time, just like Jennifer's Body. So I really hope that you guys go out and see it, because we need to support these horror movies, guys. Go out to the theater, go alone, who cares? I went alone. Going alone is much better, in my opinion, than going with other people. Try it. If you have not, you'll become addicted to it. It will be the only way you want to see movies from that point on. Lisa Frankenstein, fantastic, loved it, so cute, so silly. It's what I figured it would be. It was great, and it's gonna become a new favorite, I can tell you that much. So if you've seen this, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Keep it spoiler free, please. Let me know what movies you're looking forward to for the rest of the year, because I think this is gonna be a contender It's gonna be on the list of favorites for 2024, that's for sure. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time. Bye.